let's talk about underestimating other people. Some of us underestimate other people and don't even realize that we're doing it. Partially it's because we've been programmed to do so by others, or we just took a little bit of information that we were exposed to and created a whole perception of this person. You didn't find out the details. You didn't ask why. You didn't investigate. You just ran with it. That so-called source that gave you the initial information, they're shining like a diamond, but you don't know that they have a black heart. Let me say that again. That person that you got the information from, just because they're shining like a diamond, they may have a black heart. But you don't know that. And the number one thing that a lot of us do is that we underestimate the power and the potential in other people. The majority of us get it wrong, especially once we get a certain age. We have this perception that the world teaches us that once we get a certain age, that's it. And I know people are starting to come around to it a little bit. I mean, there are people that are my age and older just coming into themselves because they finally were able to obtain the spiritual freedom that they had been seeking for years. And I'm one of them. I'm finally spiritually free. But see, you got to understand that you were in bondage before you can appreciate the freedom. So I was one of those people that used to go on the perceptions of others. Well, cousin so-and-so told me, and cousin so-and-so is doing well, and cousin so-and-so looks good and talks good, and everybody likes cousin so-and-so. So surely cousin so-and-so doesn't have an issue. So if I heard it from them, it's the truth. It may not be the truth, people. I'm sorry. It may not be the truth, people. I'm sorry. And speaking from a previous experience myself, sometimes things will happen in your life as a child that will mark you for the rest of your life in other people's eyes. They figure whatever misfortune or dysfunction that you went through as a child, that's supposed to just make you, quote unquote, not right in their eyes, no matter how old you get. And that's a problem, people. That's a problem. Let me give you a case in point. Maybe you can relate. Let's say that you were one of those people that you was an outcast when you were a child. You had problems with maybe motor skills, or you had problems with, just speech pattern. You could have a cleft palate or something like that. You have a condition that's not permanent as a child that eventually you grew out of. Now, you've grown out of it, okay? But there are some people that are in your family, friends, or whatever, all they can think about is the fact that you were in that state of temporary incapacity. That's all they see when they see you. You could be 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. They're still going to think about how you didn't walk until you were such and such age, how you didn't speak words until you were certain age. They're still looking at you as that age. And you've built a life for yourself. You've moved on and everything else. And if anything, you probably live in a better quality of life than they have, and see, that's the kicker. These people, some of them probably even teased you about it, probably gave you a hard time, probably gaslighted you in front of other people so they wouldn't associate with you, just so they can look like the better person. They had it in for you from the jump. They had it in for you. They don't want to see the fact that you're not that person anymore. They don't want to see the fact that you're making moves and making changes. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that you are moving into a positive direction. They don't want. And what's happening is that some of you people, because you've been underestimated for so long, you feel now that you've got to prove yourself to these people. Excuse me, I'm stumbling over my words. I got too many ideas going on in my head. Too many ideas. But anyway, now you feel, oh, well, I got it together. I'll show them. You ain't got to show nobody shit. Let me tell you something. The fact that you are still here and made it through whatever it is, whatever that roadblock was or anything else, and you are in your mind and you are taking care of yourself and you've developed a spiritual connection, you're working in your purpose, You don't need to prove shit to nobody. That's why I tell people all the time, look, we in this thing together where we trying to level up and work on our spiritual gifts. We're on this journey together. But I'm going to tell you what, you ain't got to trumpet out to the world what the hell you doing. If these people really care about you, they will follow your work. They will support your work. They will encourage your work. They will encourage others to support your work. They wouldn't play nosy. And some of them so slick, they'll turn around and try to send the children to try to get information from you instead of you coming to you. Now, those are some nasty ones, I'm going to tell you. They don't have the balls to even talk to you directly. Go find out so-and-so. Pimping the kids out. Pimping the kids out. Nah, Sway. You don't have time to be dealing with these low vibrational people. You don't have time. You do not have time. So yes, you've leveled up. Yes, you are in your greatness. Yes, you are in your energy. Yes, you are fulfilling your universal purpose. Yes, you have been underestimated. But don't be so focused on the fact that you have been underestimated to the point where you tell on yourself and rat yourself out. Somebody could be, totally introverted as a child or whatever, never wanted to deal with people, and grew up to be a governor or some type of politician where they have to deal with people all the time, made major moves and did wonderful things in their state. But deep down, they feel they got to show somebody something. You ain't got to show nobody shit. Focus on working with the people that you have given your gifts to. Work with them. Don't pay any attention to the naysayers. Because, see, the majority of them, when they were up there and you were down there, it's been flipped. It's been flipped. You're living in your greatness and your spiritual awareness, and now they're suffering. Now they're in the position where they're incapacitated. And you want to prove something to them? No. You got it backwards, babe. Don't spend your energy worrying about those people. And I know it's hard, especially if it's a situation where there's a family member or something like that. That's okay. Limit your communication. Set boundaries. Setting boundaries will help get you out of those feelings of inadequacy because people underestimated you. You're not that person anymore, and you got to keep telling yourself that every single day. You got to keep telling yourself that. So, in short, the people who underestimated you, now they're suffering. And they're thinking about you. And some of them are acting out in very evil ways. You don't have time for them either way. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to do on how to deal with their situation. That's your choice. But understand, you've got to decide what type of person you're going to have in your life from this point on, because you're in a different spiritual realm. Do you want these people who don't have any idea if they're coming or going and have mistreated you? Do you want them in your life on a constant basis? Or would you rather use your spiritual gifts and share them with others who have the same vision as you do? That's up to you. Just saying.